Jake's next opponent's been announced, and it's Anderson the Spider Silva. Bruh, let's get to talking to it.
It's a bombshell because Jake Paul, who has been rumored and now confirmed to be fighting in October, Jake's opponent just got leaked today as I'm recording this, and it's none other.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Big Tank, Michael Jordan 6 ring, him king, listen how we rip tanks. Him sing, but he could've flipped things, him smart, chose R16s like the Sistine. His dream is to spit things and to get green, but his thing and to get rich quick scheme.
Then the Spider Anderson Silva. Woo! And I know there's going to be people saying things about this, and I'm going to tell you guys all the good and bad about.
Listen, this is the most comprehensive video of it I've seen. I've seen people putting little second clips up and blah, blah, blah. But Wade Concept does a great job breaking down all this YouTube box and stuff. So
what comes from picking Anderson Silva in his next fight. But I do think
we on this,
is a
bro.
dangerous fight for Jake Paul. Why? Feels pretty good to say this once again in the home studio. So breakdown, let's go. All right, so yes, Jake.
Now, before he breaks this down, let me just say, I don't know, man. The weight difference is probably crazy. Now, Anderson Silva is probably going to be the most experienced fighter he's fought, but he's only had like 2 boxing matches, right? And he did pretty good in those, but he's a UFC, so it's like, I don't know. Jake Paul got that cannon still, so I don't know if Anderson is just going to, you know what I mean?
Jake Paul has chosen Anderson Silva as his next fight. This was leaked by Keemstar, and again, shout out to Keem. He's smashing the game on the headlines and getting the stories as always. Happy Punch Promotions is going like this right now, so can't say anything but respect to what they're doing over there. This story is basically as certified as my dance move when Slim was making his walkout on Fight Night this Saturday. By the way, shout out to my man Hasim Rahman Jr. for posting that little golden nugget for everyone to see. Appreciate you. But for all intents and purposes, that is the fight. And listen, I know what everyone is going to say about this, so let's talk about it now.
Jake's not fighting a boxer. Why isn't he fighting a boxer?
This is my problem with that statement. The semantics game of making Jake fight a boxer isn't something I ever understand. Question or the task in front of Jake shouldn't be fight a boxer. The real question or the progression for Jake should be fight an opponent with better skills and more experience than your last opponent. Like, would you rather see Jake fight a...
I always say this too, right? And I kind of agree with him. I agree and disagree a little bit, but he's 100% right. People hate Jake Paul so much, right, that they forget that these are his first boxing matches, right? Like, we've watched his first most people, their first 4 matches, you don't see. They're fighting niggas at the gym, and then they just threw him gloves, come on in. We just need to get some, you feel what I'm saying? So, like, to say, nah, he need to box Canelo, is like, come on, bro.
Low-level pro boxer that either doesn't have a winning record or is just starting out with not as much experience as a UFC legend, and I understand it's MMA, but a striking guru for over 20 years.
The Spider Silva.
Even in boxing, skill levels wouldn't be the same. Anderson Silva is just as much a boxer as Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is because he beat him soundly. And let's be honest about something. We've seen what pro boxers look like when they are nowhere near as skilled as the YouTuber they're fighting, and they're not prepared in any way for the...
That's that KSI fight. That's why I said, like, with the KSI fight, the problem with that was that, honestly, his opponents were so embarrassing that I don't know if that did much for him boxing-wise or even, like, credibility-wise, because it didn't matter that he boxed an actual boxer. He might as well have boxed. Who had the better opponents? Jake or KSI so far? It's Jake, 100%. Like,
moment
every opponent
thousands
that Jake
of people in the arena sold out in the main event. We just saw it this Saturday. So this is why I don't get into the semantics game of Jake should fight a boxer. Why isn't he fighting a boxer? He's fighting a man that arguably is a better boxer.
I do agree, though. As long as he's fighting better boxers than other people fighting, then I can't really complain. But I do agree, one day he's gonna have to squad up with someone that's their discipline. You know, that's
and most people that you guys would have him fight at this level. And this is not me running defense for Jake. I'm just saying what it is. Anderson Silva is a highly decorated striker across multiple decades. I can't say it any different than that. And he's around Jake's weight, so we're not talking about a weight bullying situation or cutting a ton of weight like Rahman Jr. was going to have to do. And yes, I'll concede that he's 47 years old and he's not what he was in his prime. And he had been stopped a couple times on his weight.
And let's keep it tall. Yeah, that age is the biggest thing. that man is up there, and Jake is a spring chicken compared to him. So, yeah, but fighting-wise, this is a good opponent, but I just also think that, like, he old. You feel me? He older, so... But let's not
weight out of the UFC, and even him not being in his prime, watching him transition into the boxing realm and do what he's done
but it's
to
100%
Julio
a
Cesar
better
Chavez and other guys that he's just basically played with, or the Tito Ortiz fight, which, good God, again, the Florida Commission just gives zero fucks. They allowed Tito to fight when he could barely speak. Evander Holyfield couldn't remember what room he was in. Don't ever do that again. But Anderson in his sleep can win those fights. This is a real test for Jake, as the level of striking talent and experience is so much higher than Jake's ever seen. Now, as far as the fight goes, it's going to be hard to see Jake sitting and outpointing Anderson Silva round after round.
Okay, this is what I'm going to say too. Anderson is more of a grappler, submission, take you to the ground, Brazilian type of, he'll do all that, right? But let's not act like he's not a striker. Let's not act like he don't got them hands and he don't be shooting them. You feel me? I love it. You feel me? But, and I also see people being like, yo, to everybody who thinks it's a bad opponent, pay attention to the actual fighters, right? I definitely think Jake Paul can knock out Anderson Silva, though. I definitely think that he can win this. I definitely do.
Of course, what Jake and their team see
I don't know
is a guy that is a little bit older, a guy that has been stopped on his way out of the UFC, and maybe his chin is a bit suspect for 185, which again is what Jake will be fighting at for this camp, according to his camp. So maybe Jake cutting that weight down, he's going to try to up his work rate, but we all know that the devastation still lies in that right hand, and
that right is
that
a
will
monster.
be the shot they look to go to. The overhand right is his bread and butter. He's going to try to knock out an older, less prime version of Anderson Silva, but still, this is the toughest fight I've ever seen Jake in, and this is why I respect it. Because listen, as much as you may not like Jake, he could have easily gone out and done what you guys said. Go get a pro boxer. But regardless if it was an undefeated pro boxer with wins against trash cans, or a pro boxer with less wins than losses, or a retired MMA legend who does happen to be one of the best strikers to ever live, there was always going to be people that are
to anybody who's gonna say anything about Anderson Silva's age, it makes me also be like, I don't know if you watched UFC, because Anderson Silva is one of the best. Silva is one of the best strikers that has ever lived. And if Floyd is kind of getting up there too, so and people want to see him still box. So it's like, now do I think Jake can win this? Absolutely.
To complain about what Jake's doing and who his opponents are. But as far as legitimacy goes, this is one of the guys at the top of the list. I would say Anderson is better skill for skill as a boxer than Nate Diaz, then Tyron Woodley, then Tommy Fury at this point, and there's others in there that could have been rumored as Jake's next fight that I don't know would match the skill level of Anderson. As far as the available options here, Tommy Fury, Anderson Silva, those were kind of the only guys.
My bad, I feel like I'm having a conversation with my man. And another thing too is, anybody who's doubting Anderson Silva, go watch Anderson Silva's bro, there's times when Anderson Silva hits Ultra Instinct mode and you can't touch him. Not only is he one of the best strikers, but he'll hit Goku Ultra Instinct on you and you can't even hit him. Just go watch his compilations, bro. Yeah. That's why I'm excited.
Right now, not looking into the future, and after a couple of swings and misses with Tommy Fury, we've already seen how Jake tries to hit a baseball. You don't want to go for strike 3 there. So a fresh opponent, a new perspective, and a new challenge for Jake is something I have no problem with. Now, I don't know the rounds or anything like that yet. I'm assuming Jake's going to stick with 8 or maybe move to 10. Either way, this is a legitimate test and one that's going to prove what level Jake's striking skill is on. Because we haven't necessarily seen someone that's more skilled than Jake yet. Tyron Woodley was, in my opinion, not a great skilled boxer just yet. It was his first couple times doing it. Ben Askren, we're going to forget that fight ever happened. Nate Robinson got left with drool dribbling like the basketball he used to play with. No one's been able to supersede Jake's skill for skill. Anderson absolutely will. So Jake's going to have to find another way to solve.
It's going to be hard to hate on this match, right? It's going to be hard. There's going to be ways to find it. The age is the biggest disparity. The age is the one I look at like. But at the end of the day, if you're telling me I'm fighting a 46-year-old, I'll look at you like this, but you go, I'm fighting a 46-year-old Anderson Silva? I go, oh, okay, well, I mean. It's Anderson
that
Silva.
Puzzle piece. And again, I say it's going to be in that right hand, and seeing if he can measure time and set up the MMA legend to eat one of these, and it does just take one, and maybe put him away. You guys let me know what you think. There it is, Anderson Silva, Jake Paul. Do you like the opponent choice? And if you don't, tell me specifically why. If it's because he's old, fair play, but I need something specific. Just
same here on the comment section. If you like the opponent, let me know. If you don't like him against, tell me why. And if you say age, I'm gonna say, all right, if it's just age, we can debunk that by saying it's Anderson Silva. Fine, it's Anderson Silva. It's not a 46-year-old Nate Robinson. And with that light cutting off, we out. Let me know what you think. I am excited for this boy.